We don't care much about Ghana, not only sanitation.
Wow.
You look at India. Now look at what the kindergartens are learning in India. But here we are still doing A for apple. We should understand that what makes a nation great is not the grammar they speak.
What really is that difference between, let's say, Ghana? I don't want to say African countries because some African countries are actually neat. What actually is that difference? Why is Ghana so dirty, but when we go outside, it is not?
Sustainability is quite important in all of this, because if you clean and there is nobody to even maintain it, it sounds like a waste of time, even though I believe that cleaning is a continuous process.
What is your biggest collaboration so far? Do you have any partnerships with MMDAs? What have you? What has been your biggest collaboration so far?
I would say the UN, United Nations at 80, they collaborated with us to have a beach cleanup. Actual motive for Buzstopboys is not actually to make money, because the moment what we seek to achieve is deliberately to let people be a bit more aware of what actually defines life, contract or no contract. All we are asking for is a clean environment, and who actually brings that to bear is not really a problem to me. For me, I just want to wake up as a young man trying to explore life, and then hit the streets without seeing plastics, seeing bola here and there.
These days, people just do relationships for doing sake and for the fancy things like you have mentioned. But for two people to team up, not just for relationship, but for a specific purpose, and to do something to grow it to this level, I must congratulate you on the work that you are doing. I think it's an incredible job, and it's not easy to build anything from scratch.
This is what we want to have or to achieve as Buzstopboys. It's not just about cleaning, it's about having a mindset of change, a mindset that is aware that without the environment, everything we are basically fighting for is useless.
Welcome to another episode of New Affairs, where we give citizens the platform to share their opinions on national issues that matter. Our guest today on our personality profile segment is a social impact enthusiast and organizer whose work with the Buzstopboys has reshaped national conversations on sanitation and civic responsibility. If you haven't figured who it is I'm talking about, then allow me to introduce Heneba Kwejo Safo, the leader of the Buzstopboys. Boss, you're welcome.
Chairman, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And I must congratulate you on the work that you are doing. I think it's an incredible job, and it's not easy to build anything from scratch. So congratulations to you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So let's just get right into it. It is well known, widely published, that you started this movement with your wife, or your then girlfriend, who is your wife. How has this shaped your views on relationship? This is just a warm-up to the broader conversation.
Okay, thank you, and respect going out to everybody watching and listening. Well, I would only say it has added up to what I stand for as a person. For me, I believe every relationship should have meaning beyond the fancy aspect of let's go to beach, I'm going here with my babe. Every relationship, where even marriage, I believe every marriage as well, inclusive of relationships, to have purpose. And for me as a person, as also somebody who have been observing life, for me, I think when it comes to even relationship, everything that you think you are going through has existed. Somebody has gone through it. There are many examples. So the best option for me is to be able to learn from the existing examples. So that's how basically I say this. The bit where myself and my then girlfriend formed this or led the initiative Buzstopboys, I think it only adds up to what I believe, because I believe, like I'm saying, every relationship should have a purpose, and everybody that knows me, especially those who have been my girlfriend before, I'll let you know right from the onset that this is the purpose of why we are here. If you don't agree or align with the purpose, I don't really buy the idea of beauty, because I believe all of it fades. But what stands tall at the end of time or at the end of everything is our collective understanding for purpose, for a collective purpose. So this is my view of relationship and everything, So my girlfriend and I doing this is not off for me, because if you are my girlfriend, then you must believe in what I say. Not even when it doesn't make sense. But if you think doing something of this nature from the onset is something that you buy into as a girlfriend, then you are worthy to be called a wife. If you kind of shy away from this, then definitely I myself as a man, I need to advise myself, because life is not one-way traffic. It will get to a point where you fall in a pothole. You get to a point where there'll be misunderstanding between you guys, because even twins or even the teeth and tank, they fight. So for me, this level of understanding in a woman is what defines the future for me. So I think it has only added up for me to be able to echo, to tell everybody, young people especially, to look beyond beauty and fancy things, because none of it will last forever. But the attitude of your wife or of your girlfriend will determine whether you guys will be successful, or even your success that you have before your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whether or not it will be sustainable. All depends on what's the kind of person you are moving with. So it only adds up to my stance and probably affirm it for me the more.
Well, this is just beautiful, because it turns out as though these days people just do relationships for doing sake and for the fancy things like you have mentioned. But for two people to team up, not just for relationship, but for a specific purpose, and to do something to grow it to this level. Now, Buzstopboyz has a national recognition. Even the first gentleman of the land, the president, has recognized you, together with a whole lot of, important personalities in Ghana and even outside.
Yes, sir.
So doing this with your girlfriend, now your wife, is just incredible, and must really be. I think there's something that young people can learn from. But let's go right into funding and logistics. I mean, you have granted several interviews, so I wouldn't want us to talk about the things you have already spoken of. So I mean, we know that you have been receiving sums of money in donations and all that. How do you seek to sustain this so that you can fund your activities as Buzstopboyz? Because the donations are not regular, and hence they cannot really be sustained. But Buzstopboyz must keep moving. How do you seek to sustain it so that it runs for posterity? Yeah.
Okay, so after 2.5 years doing volunteerism, sustainability is quite important in all of this, because if you clean and there is nobody to even maintain it, it sounds like a waste of time. Even though I believe that cleaning is a continuous process, for the same reason we brush our teeth every morning and we continue to do. That is the same way we should see cleaning. But beyond that, that is why we've brought, or we are coming up with a new, or the second phase of Buzstopboyz that we call ATM.
Something we'll be talking about later,
Okay.
But of course you can go
Right.
ahead.
So the ATM simply means you adopt, you transform, and you maintain. And this is purposely or deliberately designed in a way that will broaden the scope of sustainability. This ATM will give individuals an opportunity to directly make their impacts in the environment with clear examples. If you look at the CSR, corporate social responsibility of individuals and company, everybody has a budget for it. Before, for example, getting into 2026, people are going to design budget and they will factor corporate social responsibilities into it. So all we are doing with the ATM is to give the corporate and even individuals an opportunity to make a direct impact in the environment. So, for example, if new media decides to say that, okay, whatever happens to this country in terms of the environment, we are all going down together. So as part of my corporate social responsibility, I want to adopt maybe 1 kilometer of our street. It could be a street, it could be a bus stop, it could be any place, anywhere at all. Even the beach side, some of the beach sides can be equally be adopted. Then in collaboration with Buzstopboyz, we will come up with the volunteers and with a plan to get a job done. We split the plan, give you details of how much it will cost you from transformation, from cleaning stages through transformation to the level where somebody must constantly maintain. So if, for example, it takes 1,000 cedis for you guys to maintain and to clean and transform the place that you have adopted, then we sit down together with you guys again, or as part of the plans, we figure out how we can dedicate 2 or 3 people in as part of the team, or even anywhere in the community, where their duty is to make constant appearance and make sure that the places are well kept, as we did. And at the end of the month, as part of your CSR program, you kind of pay some sort of remuneration of salary to these guys, we believe automatically we are also offering opportunity and employment to young people. So this is how we want to sustain the activities of the Buzstopboys. So if at the end of the year we have about 50 companies and individuals buying into the idea and adopting places and transforming, we believe that by the end of the year we can have more than 100,000 kilometers of road network or even area in terms of geographical location that is clean and constantly being maintained. And if you look at the plan of ATM also, like I said, there's already an existing budget for it. And also sometimes people talk about how do you also make money and all of that, assuming that the one who adopted is not willing or ready to pay at some point in time. Because the place become clean, we can equally give it out for advertisers to put an ad, their signpost or their ad somewhere, and then you pay something at the end of the month that will also go back into the pocket of those who are maintaining it, pay them a salary or some sort of remuneration, so they say. So
Right.
just this, I think this is the little I will say about that.
Sure. One thing I would like us to discuss, and I would like to take your opinion on that later on in the conversation. Of course, we need volunteerism as a country. Every society needs people who are willing to volunteer and do things for free. But I would like to find out, we'll talk about that later, what really is that difference between, let's say, Ghana? I don't want to say African countries because some African countries are actually neat.
Yeah.
So what actually is that difference? Why is Ghana so dirty, but when we go outside, it is not? I'm not sure it is just volunteerism that is making, the
At all,
Western.
no.
So we would go into that, but let's put a hold on that. What is your biggest collaboration so far? Do you have any partnerships with MMDAs? What have you? What has been your biggest collaboration so far?
Oh, biggest. Well, I'll say in terms of, I'll say the UN, United Nations at 80, they collaborated with us to have a beach cleanup at Regional Maritime University, one of their beach fronts. So in terms of institution, UN is over 80 years old. So I guess it's only right to say they are the biggest collaboration so far.
Right. But I mean, when you look at the things you've done, so especially considering, let's take, now Zoom Lion, as we had it in the news, is no longer working with the government. The government has now terminated its contract with the Zoom Lion. Are you looking at bidding for a contract in any of the districts we have in Ghana as a cleaning agency?
Well, not necessarily bidding. You could see the actual motive for Buzstopboys is not actually to make money, because the moment what we seek to achieve is deliberately to let people be a bit more aware of what actually defines life. Because if we give all the contract, or if we even are awarded some contract, and we still have the people thinking that Buzstopboys are being paid to clean, and therefore I can create mess. What we seek to get, which is a clean environment from the perspective of a mindset change, will not be fruitful. So, of course, as part of also creating job for those who are volunteering, some of them are jobless. So, if they get some opportunity to also do this, I guess that one will also make it in a way. But I simply want to say that whether contract or no contract, all we are asking for is a clean environment, and who actually brings that to bear, it's not really a problem to me. For me, I just want to wake up as a young man trying to explore life, and then hit the streets without seeing plastics, seeing bola here and there. I feel like I'm saying, to be able to explore when be aware of life itself, then you should also understand that life itself is simply the environment. Because if your environment is filled with filth everywhere, it is automatic that you go to hospitals, because either malaria or typhoid, one of them will get you down. And as somebody who is also here to basically enjoy or experience this part of life, I really don't want to let me put it this way. Assuming I want to build the best house in this world, and in the process of getting that done, maybe I'll be able to complete the best house at the age of 70. Now, because of these problems in the environment, at 50, I'm sick and dying. I guess it truncates my purpose and what I want to explore. Absolutely. Just common debt. So if we are able to drive debt away, whether you are rich or poor, we will explore and have fun, because I don't need oxygen to be happy. I don't need to pay. I don't need money to breathe in. Neither do I need, I'm supposed not to even need money to feed, because by respecting nature, pawpaws grow everywhere. There are fruits and vegetables that grows everywhere. So if I don't have money to afford papaya, I can easily go to the nearby bush, get pawpaw, eat, and I'm fine. So this is what we want to have or to achieve as Buzstopboyz. It's not just about cleaning. It's about having a mindset of change, a mindset that is aware that without the environment, everything we are basically fighting for is useless.
Great.
And once this is well understood by young people, we no longer sit back and watch things go bad in the name of I'm not in charge or in the name of I've paid my taxes. We are basically this.
Great. So I want to tie 2 or 3 questions into one. You have spoken about people thinking that they are not in charge, and you have also spoken about people not changing their mindset or having a certain mindset about cleaning their environment. Now, I want to tie this into the earlier question I asked about what really makes the difference between Ghana and the cleaner countries, because we don't think that it is all about volunteerism. So must we wait for everybody to change their minds before we move on as a country? And do you think that it all depends on mindset change? If that is really the case, when are we going to move forward? Because I don't think some people are really ready to change their minds outright. I mean,
right. So it's, first of all, let me say it clearly and loudly that all depends on mindset, but also not for everybody to change before we move. Imagine having one leader who is saying that, okay, if I don't make it at all, I should have a clean environment. That is a mindset of a leader, and it can easily be made possible, because once we have police and people are no longer going through red light, it's not because they are scared of red light, but they know police is somewhere that will arrest them. So yes, so with the same mindset, we can now look at the environment from that perspective, where we no longer let anybody go away with the distractions they are creating. We'll start dealing with the people at the right on spot. So we have task forces that used to be in existence in the past. They can equally come back. I don't know now. I don't know. Yes, we call them tankers, and we are okay with that. Quite recently, about 6 youth had to die because they are looking for military employment. If all of us as youth can begin to understand that this can be anybody's at all's reality, because we are meant to believe that by doing a certain kind of job, that is when you are respected. These are all part of the mindset issue. There are a lot of people who wants to leave Ghana, and the first day they land foot abroad, they are looking for the next cleaning company to employ them. It simply means that, yes, it simply means that there's a problem with the mindset. And even people among giving us, when somebody is a cleaner, they don't accord the person the same respect as MD. But look at it in a reflective perspective. Who is the MD without a cleaner? The MD will definitely fall sick and die within the shortest possible time. So when this mindset makes us feel like a certain job is better than a certain job, then it simply means that we do not understand what life is about. Because in the car that is so beautiful and you are happy so much about, the car is nothing without the tires. At the same space, the tire is nothing without the engine. And in the same way, the engine is nothing without the seats. So it's a collection of things that makes life what it is. So once we all, if not all of us, about 5%, even just 5% of this population is saying that we are channeling our energy, our strength, our focus into making sure that if not for anything at all, we will defend the integrity of this country, then we are good to go. So Paul Kagame in Rwanda is not doing anything magical or anything that requires robotic science.
Right.
Paul Kagame is simply saying that this environment is the only pride that we have. We are no longer going to sit back for anybody in the name of personal interest or company interest or however to create a certain mess that will have all of us wanting. So as a leader, I am straightly going to make sure nobody creates a mess. And they put in systems, rules and regulations, and it's happening beautifully. So everything is about leadership, but leadership without a mindset for the good of our nation is simply another waste of time, because by promoting patriotism and nationalism alone, a lot of things begin to turn. If we hold patriotism to a higher esteem, then we are definitely not going to get ministers and people who sit one-on-one with people to other countries to sign contracts, and they end up saying that, oh, for all the lithium that we have in Ghana, give us 13% and take the rest. You see the vibe. So it's just about a change of mindset that does not only affect the youth, but for this country to get to that fruitful end, we need to understand that our only integrity that we have is whether or not we're able to build this place, our country, to a cleaner or like something that was envious and jealous by others. But if you are not, then I believe that whether or not you worship God or not, we have all failed.
Right.
Because the earth, the environment is our first responsibility, and we must prove to God that yes, the little that you gave us, this is what it used to be in the past, and now here we are. It's all beautiful.
Right. So to you, I mean, if we can put it blankly, when we talk about mindset change and moving forward as a country, having cleaner environment, it is not really about every single individual having a good mind, but it's really about leadership and the willpower to move the country forward, to make sure that we have cleaner environments. Just like you said, every driver there's no driver who is afraid of the red traffic light, but they know that there's authority that would, arrest them, put them in check and all that.
Yeah.
So for you, it's about the vision of the leader and not really about every single individual changing their minds. Is that
yes, because when the leader has a vision and he is bent on saying that whether I make something, whether I make money or I don't make money, whatever happens, I am going to make sure that Ghana becomes a better place. Automatically, that leader will put in systems that will transcend the mindset change.
Right.
You see, so it's automatic. Like I'm saying, we are stopping at red light because of police. So when we have visible sanitation officers arresting and punishing instantly, that one alone will also change or broaden the gap of mindset change. And
So
we are
would
good
you
to
say it's simply because we don't care much about sanitation like we do to the other, sectors of...
We don't care much about Ghana, not only sanitation.
Wow. I was actually going to ask you about patriotism now and how you feel about the ordinary Ghanaians, and the patriotic spirits they have. But you finish with this. So you feel that we just don't care about Ghana, not just about sanitation.
Yeah, we don't care about Ghana. Because if you care about Ghana, what is Ghana? Ghana is not the air. And Ghana is not the ether or space. Ghana is the land. So here we are now crying out loud that galamseyers are destroying our country. If you care about Ghana, then definitely we shouldn't be talking about galamseyers destroying our country. The galamseyer should also care about Ghana.
Right.
But if the galamseyer feels like now I am left between survival and death, then I must do anything to survive. So from the top or from the community and the chief angle, if we are able to create systems that give young people an opportunity and also depict what patriotism actually means, like we can talk about Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whom after 6 years in government, nobody can point to a building that belongs to Nkrumah. But whatever we are benefiting today is the things that Nkrumah did. So you cannot talk about Ghana without Akosumo Dam, and that is Nkrumah right there. Now you can't talk about Ghana without Akoso, what's the name, motorway, and then that is Nkrumah. So these are the things that when somebody as a leader begins to walk that path, automatically those who are following the leader also begins to understand that, oh, so really and truly, it's not about how many money or how much cars I have. It's about the imprint that you leave for others to come and enjoy the fruit of your leadership. So it's entirely a mindset of a responsible Ghanaian and true care for Ghana. Is going once we all begins to care about Ghana, then certain things will not be allowed in. Because we're talking about galamsey, for example, again. Now, the excavators are being imported. They come through process before they get to the village.
They get to the port.
So if we care about Ghana, then we should begin to stop the problem from the port. These people, the galamseyers, will be handicapped without the equipment. And they can't carry it because it's not a mobile phone. It simply means that we don't care about Ghana. Everybody is acting and we are doing like we care. But the things that will show that we care are not being taken care of. So it's easy to know that we care beyond the lip service that a lot of us do.
What do you think is the problem? What do you think has gone wrong? And how, in your opinion, do you think we can fix it? Bring back the patriotism, for love for country, doing things willingly for country. What do you think has gone wrong and how do you think we can fix it?
Okay, so I guess what has really gone wrong is the fact that we no longer think anything of us is wealthy to even roam about with it. For example, now we watch a lot of telenovelas, and these guys are basically telling us about the cultures in the Asia, but we are happy watching. But let me go and do a TV series that is putting Bragro or Depot in the cinematic form for people to watch. We ourselves will come attacking. This is demonic and that is that. But without the black aspect of this, my eye, The whole white one is useless. So when we begin to understand that it is not about which is good and which is best, but it's about understanding that without black there is nothing. That is why when you close your eye, you see nothing. So we should begin to accept what we are, not as inferior to others, but as a balance of what we think is better. So the white skin is not better than the black skin. It is there to know that there is supposed to be more of black, more of white in order to create that balance. So once we begin to understand that even nurturing a child is not just about A for apple, it is also about letting that baby girl or that baby boy or girl who is experiencing this particular side of life to understand that whatever you are is not wrong. You are there as a balance or to reflect the other one. So once we begin to change the whole narrative, we have to be deliberate about some of the things, because some of these things must go to the classroom for the teacher and the young people to understand that being black is best. That is when we can upfront our culture and begin to depict what we have. That way, we will no longer feel like the small river at our backyard is a bad river or stream. Meanwhile, we go to other countries and we go to river now. They are equally rivers. We go to other streams in Jerusalem and all of that, and we are happy. But we can also give the same respect to what we have here. All was created by God. But you see, so we should be, where we went off or wrong or where we lost it all is when we began seeing ourselves as inferior to others. That is why now we can easily destroy everything that is connecting or it's us, and then look for visas and run to elsewhere to enjoy life. So this is the root cause for me as somebody who has been observing life from a deeper perspective. This is what I think is wrong, and this is also what is making all the other cultures run over us. Because look at India now. Look at what the kindergartens are learning in India, but here we are still doing A for apple. We should understand that what makes a nation great is not the grammar they speak. It's about the things that they produce and the kind of talent that the young people have.
You think that Ghanaians are too focused on English and grammar?
Oh yeah, that is, unless if somebody is arguing that the person simply doesn't want to be honest, because we seems to care so much about grammar. That is why when somebody speaks eloquently, then automatically we begin to accord him with a lot of sense. But this is language. For the same reason somebody speaks a word fluently, somebody who speak English, Dutch and all of that fluently, doesn't necessarily make them brilliant. So we should begin to understand that as people, as humans, as Ghanaians, what we value is the reason why we are here. When we start to place less value on grammar and language, and we begin to place value on impact and purpose, it will even change how we vote. The voting pattern will automatically change.
Absolutely.
Because now we are going to vote for people who are ready to make the thing work, and not people who are tribe-based or what. In Rwanda today, you cannot talk about.
No tribe.
You don't have no tribe, and now you see, and they are doing so well. But here we are, just one language to make communication among us easily.
It's a problem.
It's a problem because we are refusing to understand that whether Ewe man or Ashanti man, we are blacks.
Absolutely.
We are blacks, and that is the unifier. So when the whole Africa begins to understand that, you see, the whole other continents do not care about whether you are a Nigerian or a Ghanaian or a Sudanese. All they know is black. So let us also unite as black people, look for the black way of survival, and they will come looking at us. It's that easy. But if all of us want to be doctors, you can never be a better doctor than those who brought medicine. So for the same way, if we also want to focus on turning our cultures and the things that we have around. Nobody can be best than us. Imagine, for example, athletics. The whole people, everybody who has made name in athletics, they are black people. So if that is our strength, let's focus on making sure that it is black athletics against other people athletics. If not for anything at all, when we say we are organizing black athletics and this is all about African champions running 100 meters race and somebody is completing maybe in 5 seconds, that is record that nobody can even think about. So automatically we also have some attention in sports and we generate revenue to fix our country, fix our continent, and we are good to go.
Great. That's a good one there. I know, some of your volunteers are professionals, right? So yes, they are. How do you recruit and maintain your volunteers, especially knowing that some of them are professionals and day workers? How do you go about that? And how do you also keep your morale high for the volunteers?
Well, there is no special recruitment process. It's just about narrating, trying to give a picture of what the option between death and cleanliness. So when we go to a place and we clean, we do it with so much deliberate details, so much so that when you see the pictures, you see that wow, this is actually nice. And that is also the stories that we tell, because it's not just about cleaning, it's about trying to have a change of mindset. And to have a change of mindset, you sometimes need to speak out and probably bring in a little more of other perspective for people to get. So those who get the message also come and be like, okay, I'm a migration officer, I'm a military officer, but I think I can dedicate this hours of my time to come and support. And then you come, we welcome you. When you come to it, because me and everybody else in the Buzstopboyz, what we are seeking to achieve is not to be famous, because whether you like it or not, every fame will not live forever. We are keenly on the fact that the only thing that will live forever is memories, and those memories is the only thing that we are looking out for. So when we go somewhere, we are looking to leave a memory, not a name. So by so doing, everybody that comes around also begins to understand that, okay, then I can also probably leave a memory. Because today we read about the big sis. They were just young people like you and I. They saw a problem and they decided to help. And that is how come they are talking about them. So because of these memories and impacts and legacies that we want to leave, if you come and you also think it's in line with what you do and you can have time to come frequently, then automatically you become a member.
Absolutely. Now, let's turn our attention to some legacy stories and look at your volunteers. Is there any one of your volunteers that you feel his or her life has changed so much as a result of being part of the Buzstopboyz? And is there any peculiar volunteer story that you can share of any of your volunteers?
Okay, so let me share the story of one. You see, one lady, she's called Adepa. This is what she said. If she's lying, then of course, me too, I the lie. So she's somebody where I was that reacts quickly. When the least thing that happens, then she begins to react. So consistently, I kept telling her that, you see, instead of reacting, sometimes you can reflect and then you save yourself from the pain. So for example, when you reflect, you learn the lessons of the process. But when you react, you go with the flow of the process without the lessons. So if you are a woman, I cite such an example to where be like, if you're a woman and then somebody comes to you in a relationship and you get broken heart for the first time, because if you don't learn the lessons from the first broken heart, you get the second and third.
The same thing.
Yes, because there are some lessons that you need to learn from that broken heart, and you can only see the lessons and learn them if you don't react, but you reflect. So by reflecting simply means that you are now going to look at how you met the guy, the things that you predicted, the outcome you are seeing today that you didn't take serious, and then begin to understand that, oh, okay, so probably I trusted this guy too much. Oh, okay, so maybe this guy, there are many red flags that I ignore. Now let me take notice of that red flag. It becomes part of your lessons. So when you meet another person who proposed a relationship to you, you take note of those one. If this is the same thing like the previous guy, then you can now step in with your leg, not your heart. That way you save yourself from broken hearts. So recently she came back telling me how she's now reflecting and not reacting, and things are changing for her as a person. And I guess her story is one that I want to share with everybody.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And what would you say is the toughest part of your work as Buzstopboyz, as volunteers? The health, safety hazards, what has been the toughest part for you?
Well, the toughest part is, let me say, when the whole work is done, where to take the non-recyclable plastics or where to take the trash itself. Yeah. It's actually the headache. Sometimes you go to some communities and the drains are predominantly filled with sand. I know that the sand can be used or can be recycled into a lot of things, but I don't have a tipper truck or even a backhoe to take them to a place of convenience. So then we must look around the community and then find a place and put it. And there are instances where you are doing it for them for free, but just because you are spreading the material from the gutter that looks sometimes black, but then with time it becomes okay because a fine material. The only problem is it's looking black. and these same people will be, you are creating the scent and blah blah blah. But it's funny to know that these same people are sitting right in front of the same gutter and they never look at the scent. But now that we are spreading it for them to feel okay, after maybe a day, they are going to feel okay for maybe a year. They rather be complaining. So it's actually one of the toughest parts in our job.
Right. So you are now a registered waste management company. States, is that true?
No, we are an NGO.
A non-governmental.
Yes.
So you are registered as a non-governmental organization.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's also because of the mindset that you don't want people to think you are in for profit or for making money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how has that been for you? I mean, the management of the NGO so far?
Well, so far, I think it's been good. There are problems, but we're still winning. So we are focusing on the win side. So we are still doing it. So far, there is nothing challenging or anything. Just that we are, let me say, just about a month away from having our physical space.
Okay, absolutely. And what message, I mean, we are still running into the dying moments of this chat. What message will you give to Ghanaians so that they bring back that love for country, that patriotic spirit, and make sure that, hey, anywhere I find myself as a Ghanaian, I'm there as an ambassador, and I must behave well, I must act properly, and I must show genuine love for country. What is that thing that you say from your heart?
Well, so that genuine thing I'll say from my heart is, after today's video, or if you are watching this video maybe weeks later, when you get home from all your daily activities that you've gone through or you are still going through, sit back and ask yourself, if your section of life should come to an end today, what do you think will be that thing that you did for this country that you can proudly say that, okay, I also did this for Ghana for free, and that thing is not just for free, but it will impact the lives of those who come after us. Sit back, don't talk to anybody, put your phones away and reflect on this message, trying to settle on what exactly you have done or you can do, so that Ghana will also remember you in good spirits. If everybody begins to reason or reflect from this perspective, I'm sure we will be a great country.
Great. Already, I've seen some groups springing up who are doing the similar things as you, and I'm sure some of them have already contacted you. How does that make you feel, that you started something and it's now like a move, a wave that people are now adopting? I think it even enters your new vision of 8 year. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel good, because that is one thing that I deliberately wanted to achieve with social media. Because as somebody who has been on social media, I see a lot of people giving, liking, and doing trends that you could clearly see from the person's looks that no, this guy doesn't want to do this, but he's being forced to do it because he wants the like. Yep. He wants the likes and the attention. So how about also trying to use the same social media that is forcing people to do things against their will, to now do things that is beyond their will, that will provide or will give us a clean environment or give us a certain change of mindset. So when I see people doing same with other groups, I feel happy, because I know that if not for anything, I will say that, okay, this is what I deliberately wanted to achieve with social media, and now I can see it's working. So that is basically how I count my wins or my achievements.
Okay. But before we end with the last thing, is there any other thing you would like viewers, listeners to know?
Okay, so maybe to say that we have a website. What's the name? The ATM will also be on the website shortly. So if you just look out for www.Buzstopboyz. The spelling as usual goes BUZSTOPBOYS at buzstopboyz.com.gh. Then you get to read something more about us, and also the website will be ready as soon as possible for you to have the ATM. No, the ATM rather will be ready as soon as possible for you to read more on it. Okay. And also to understand that at the end of the day, at the end of it all, especially young people, our future is watching us in silence. Our future is watching us in silence. And whether we act now or not, we can no longer blame anybody, because in 30 years, all the people we are blaming now will go back door, whether by age or by whatever means, because nobody will be here forever. So let us not sit in idle and wait for that future that will haunt us all our lives. Let's take action now, and I believe we can make some changes in the future.
So how can viewers join, donate, share anything? I'm sure there are still things that you need to make your work smooth. You spoke about, tipper trucks and all that, and you helping it, or it helping you to, for your work to move smoothly. How can we join? How can we donate? How can we share? What can we do to help the movement so that other people would join hands in and become a bigger movement?
Right, so you can always join by, first of all, giving us a follow on social media. From TikTok to YouTube, we are everywhere as Buzstopboys. So the social media accounts, whichever app that you have, just search for Buzstopboys, give us a follow, and you get to see frequent updates of our locations. For example, tomorrow is 21st, right? Tomorrow we are working at Tesano, Papaya bus stop, all the way to Abeka Junction. But we can't do it alone. We can only get to Abeka Junction when people join us. So if you have the time and energy, simply come, let's clean. At least we can all drive Ghana to a clean environment just by uniting with one purpose.
Great.
And if you also want to call us or donate to us, our number is 0546 442747. It's Momo as well. Anything you want to do, you can simply call us as well. 0546 442747.
Right. So any final words for viewers?
Okay, final words will be the youth anthem. That is saying that arise, Ghana youth, for your country. Because if you don't, I guess the writer of that song is a prophet. I think the biggest prophet, and still the words are still active. Because even in 20 years, you need to rise for Ghana, because if not, there is no future for us. Let's understand that whether we like it or not, the future will come. So, however possible that you can, defend Ghana, defend the red, gold, and green, and the black stars. That's the only thing worthy of dying for.
Indeed, defend Ghana, defend the red, the gold, the green, and the black star. Arise, Ghana youth, for your country. The nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite to uphold her and make her great and strong. Indeed, we all are involved. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. We have had an amazing moment with the leader of the Buzstopboys, the movement that is making waves all over the country, doing an amazing job in cleaning our environments. I hope that wherever you are, the mindset change that we are talking about, you make it a part of you, so that you don't make your environment so dirty. Thank you so much. I've been your host for New Affairs Personality Segment. My name is Nusinho Donyo. Thank you. Bye-bye.